All right. Hi, hello, welcome back. We just did our energy exchange where we found that the energy we would benefit from releasing today was terror. And the energy we were going to call in its place was forgiveness. That's hard, right? When somebody's terrorized you, when you have felt terrorized, do you really want to be operating inside of forgiveness for them? No, probably not. It's much easier to feel safe and feel protected when we do not forgive someone for the ways in which they have terrorized us. But nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Nothing is ever just black and white. So that's why we're going to dig into our spiritual response technique charts and look at what could be going on here with this terror. Is it here in this present realm? Is it from another realm? Is it from this life or a past life? Is it a spiritual terror? Is it a mental, emotional, physical terror? What can we understand about this terror so that we can let it go and then hopefully call in forgiveness, even if that forgiveness is just for ourselves? Even if we're not ready to offer that forgiveness to someone else yet, perhaps the first step is just forgiving ourselves for what we've done, what we've experienced, whatever the case may be. We're going to figure it out. So let's just dive into the charts. Again, this is called spiritual response technique, very specific set of dowsing charts where I get to have my high self talking to your high self, spirit coming in to give us some guidance, to give us some extra info, and we just get to see what might be going on beneath the surface that is causing us to feel the energy of this terror. Obviously, there's some really clear things going on in the world that are causing this, but maybe this isn't that terror. Maybe this is a different kind of terror. Maybe this is terror from another time. So let's look into it. So I'm just going to ask first and foremost, number one, what's going on here with this terror? What's the root of this terror? And what do we need to know to get it out of the way? So is this 6A or 6D? 6D, interesting. Okay. So 6D defines our relationship with God. So we have a resistance to God. A resistance to God is keeping us feeling terrorized. Well, hi, here we go. Another deeply spiritual clearing, just like all the clearings we've had these last few weeks. You know, that makes a lot of sense. If you are, I kind of started to talk about this yesterday, but the peace and the comfort that can come when we allow ourselves to have a spiritual life, when we allow ourselves to believe in and connect with things of the spirit. And this includes, quote unquote, God. It doesn't have to be the Christian God. It doesn't have to be, God is spirit, spirit is God. Let's just say that those two terms are interchangeable, and let's take away the gender. Let's take away the any kind of imagery that you have of God, any kind of understanding you have of any story, any myth, any parable of God, and let's just think about God as spirit, as source, as a divine being, as a divine understanding, a divine truth, a divine light that we are a part of. So when we are experiencing resistance to God, we feel terror. Who the hell are we? What is the point of our existence? What is the point of the insanity that is going on in the world right now if we disconnect ourselves from the fact that we are divine beings, when we disconnect ourselves from the fact that we are spirit having a learning experience? If you take all that away, if you resist the idea of divine source, divine light, God, what is left except just pure chaos, randomness, violence, terror? That's a very painful and sad and deflating way of existing. And it's creating in us this energy of terror that we're asking to be released right now. So let's dive in and see, what can we do? What is creating this resistance to God? What is the root of our resistance to God? What is the root? Chart 20. The root of our resistance to God, chart 20. Oh, additional programs type 1 and 2 at the 1 level. The establishment of creative programming that must take place to harmonize with all levels of the soul at the 1 level. Wow, say that 10 times fast. So that's a note from all of the books that there are about spiritual response technique. That's a note from that book. And again, these sometimes are programs that were necessary for us to individuate. They are things that our consciousness was sort of coded with to be able to disconnect from God at a certain point so that we could come into human form. And that's okay. Those programs were necessary at the time. And we can also say we release those programs now to allow ourselves to truly understand our connection to source, to truly understand that we are a part of one, that we are divinely loved and protected. And we are divine creators as well. And so we can have the power to shift and create a new sort of reality for ourselves. And I'm not saying we get to change what's happening out there in the world and force other people to do this and manifest $1 million. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is we can shift the energy that we create and the energy that we put out into the world. And that then gets reflected back to us. So then we receive energy differently. We receive experiences differently. Our perception changes. And so we can maybe, hopefully, not experience such terror about the things that are going on in the world and instead have peace, knowing that the things that are going on in the world are a part of our evolutionary process. We do not have to fear, the things that are going on. We can be mad about them. We can be frustrated by them. We can be inspired to act because of them, but we don't have to be terrorized by them. And when we are not terrorized, when we are in our peace, when we are in our control, when we are in our power, we have a lot more capability to respond in a way that is helpful and beneficial to ourselves and to society as a whole. So that's what we're going to be thinking about. That's what we're going to be looking at, is like, how can I be in the world and be a part of this world, but not be terrorized by it? And the way to do that is to accept our own divinity, accept the divine plan, accept that we are a part of spirit, that we individuated, that we are here experiencing all of this, trying to gain understanding, part of, whatever this whole battle is between good, bad, duality, understanding, transformation. Like, it's all the things. It's all the things. So that we can bring it back to source, bring it back to the hive, bring it back to awareness, bring it back to consciousness and say, hey, this is what I learned. This is the understanding now that I have of self, of my infinite self. All right, what else can we do here? What else can we look at? What else can we clear? What else can we know and understand about this terror and about this disconnection from God? And again, so we're blocked, okay, so I like to think, if you really want to, let's get an analogy going, because I think analogies are helpful. I think that, creating visuals are helpful. So there is a block between us and the sun, the source, light, wisdom, divine truth. There's a block there. So here we are here on this earth, and I want you to literally imagine the sun as this ball of light that is the representative of source, knowledge, wisdom, truth, energy, all that is. And there's a block here in the conduit. There's something funky going on in the elevator between myself down here on this earth and the sun, source, divinity. We're just going to ask for that block to be cleared, but we're going to say, what specifically is the block? Can I call it out? Can I name it? And if I can name the block, then I can hopefully have a better time releasing it. Okay, so we're going to chart 10A, which is actually called miscellaneous blocks. So let's see what is on our chart 10A. What is on our chart 10A here that is blocking us to our connection to source? Subconscious clutter. This is one of the classic, there's 8 blocks on this chart that we all got to deal with at some time. At some point in our life, we're going to deal with heart vows. We're going to deal with world energies. We're going to deal with race beliefs. We're going to deal with soul programs. We're going to deal with scarring. And one of the things we're going to deal with is just subconscious clutter that is mucking things up. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, if you imagine your drain, your bathroom shower drain, and at a certain point, there was no block. It was just like water coming down from the shower into the drain and out into the street sewer system. But after enough showers, after enough lifetimes, after enough uses, the hair, the soap scum, the muck, the little bits of the things that fall into the drain, it plugs it up. It plugs it up. So what once was a clear conduit between the shower head and the plumbing out on the sewer out in the street is no longer clear. And that's the subconscious stuff that is mucking it up. That's what's blocking us from feeling our connection to divinity, to source, to spirit, to truth, to all that is. And so we can just say right now, Spirit, clear it. Spirit, clear it is like the verbal Drano of the spiritual world. Ha! Spirit, clear it. Gotta pull out my spiritual Drano. Spirit, clear it. You can say that at any time, at any place, anywhere. You can write it down somewhere. I have stickers. Where's my Spirit, clear it sticker? I have stickers. They say Spirit, clear it because it's such a good unblocking system. You can also say, I clear my subconscious now of any clutter that is blocking me to divine source, that is blocking me to truth, that is blocking me to knowledge and awareness of all of us as divine beings. You can take a piece of paper, draw a bunch of clutter on it with a pencil, preferably, and then erase it and watch it go away. And as you're erasing those pencil lines, just say, I clear myself of all subconscious clutter now. Spirit, clear me of all the subconscious clutter that is blocking me to you. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, we just do that. All right. What else is going on here that is blocking us to the truth and the knowledge that we are divine beings, and that will help us release that terror, dysfunction of God consciousness at the spiritual level? Yeah, I mean, again, we're still attached to this idea that we are separate. We're still attached to this idea that we are humans out here doing our own thing, that it is randomized or chaos, or maybe we're believing that there is very much a heaven and a hell, and we're going to go to hell, or we're going to go to heaven and everybody else is going to go to hell. And there's just this energy of terror and darkness and evil. And I'm not saying that those things don't exist. They're very real. Anything can be real. Anything is real that you believe is real. Anything is real that you experience. Your experience is real. I'm not saying it's valid. I'm not saying it's like right, but it's real. And so again, we're just saying, Spirit, clear it. Unblock us to the truth about our own divine nature. That it's just what keeps coming up. So let's look at, gosh, what even was our replacement energy? We're clearing terror. Was it truthfulness? I don't even remember anymore, y'all. It's early. Maybe this will be a quick one today. I'm just going to say, show me what else we need to do here. I might not even get to check percentages. I don't even know what's going on here. Was it terror for truthfulness? What the heck was it? Oh, we're getting contact help coming inside. So who's going to help us right now? The angels of light are coming forward. We accept the angels of light and all of their help now. I like to just imagine myself surrounded by them. They're pretty cool. They're pretty nice. They're pretty awesome. These angels of light. Okay, what else can we do? So we called in the angels of light. We're releasing ourselves from this outdated beliefs that we are separate from God. We're releasing ourselves from error consciousness where we believe that we are separate from God. And now Grandma's good advice is coming forward. What does Grandma want to tell us about this terror? Grandma wants to tell us accepting. Grandma, I'm going to ask a yes or no question. A no is this way and a yes is this way. I'm not going to swing it, but so Grandma's good advice. So accepting. So is this just about we need to accept our nature as divine? Yes. Okay. So what is blocking us? So what percent are we open to accepting our divine nature? 0%. That's my 0. Okay. And then what percent are we blocked to our divine nature? 100%. Accepting our divine nature. So what do we have to do to help us accept our divine nature? Higher level blocks. What all do we need to do to accept our divine nature? Attune my soul to spirit now. Let's say that together. I attune my soul to spirit now. I attune my soul to spirit now. Okay. Final items in this new one universe. What else we have going on here? Again, alpha to omega, clear and harmonize from the beginning to the end. From the beginning, when we were separated, when we individuated from source, from divine light, to where we are now, through all all time, space, dimensions. Clearing and harmonizing ourselves so that we can accept our own divine nature and release ourselves from the outdated belief, the detrimental belief that we are separate from spirit. So is this 6A or is this 5? This is 5. Okay, what's going on here on chart 5? Okay, codependency. Ah, well, that's interesting. Are we afraid of being codependent on God? Yeah, I'm almost getting, that's so interesting that that's what popped up, but I'm almost getting, we're like, no, that is like so not cool to be like believing God and like have a relationship with God that is just like so codependent, and I just can't do that. That's the vibe I'm getting right now with that. We're releasing us from our bad attitude about God and spirituality. We're releasing ourselves from the pride we have about being individuals and being logical and being, you know, those that only believe in the tangible here and now. We're releasing ourselves from that pride. We're releasing ourselves from that poopy attitude. It's a bad attitude. It's a bad attitude, and we're not going to have bad attitudes. Okay, what else can we do to help us to fully accept and embrace ourselves as divine beings? What can we do to fully accept and embrace ourselves as divine being? Constructive thoughts. We need to own and operate inside of the sage archetype. The sage is the one that has constructive thinking. The sage is wisdom. The sage is wisdom incarnated. That's what we need to be. We're releasing our ego, we're releasing our pride, we're releasing our doubts, we're releasing our fears, we're releasing the subconscious clutter, we're releasing over-identification with the separateness of self, the separateness of humanity, and we're calling in the sage archetype, we're calling in the wisdom of the sage archetype that knows beyond a shadow of a doubt, that knows, that just knows because it knows that we are a part of spirit, that we are a part of some beautiful divine light source, and we have access to all of the wisdom and all of the knowledge. And when we access that wisdom and knowledge, we will know we do not have to be terrorized. We can let go of terror now. We can show up in this present world. We can be informed, be educated, be aware, and not be terrorized. Because when we release the grip that terror has on us, we are no longer controlled by the man. We're no longer controlled by those external forces. We're no longer controlled by the media. We're no longer controlled by politics. We're no longer controlled by religion, because all of those things use terror to control us. They're using terror to get us to buy more things. They're using terror to get us to be separated. They're using terror to weaken us as a community so that we are less powerful, so that we are under their control. So yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. Do you want to be a part of that? I don't want to be a part of that. That's not something I feel like getting down with. So yeah, what else can we do to help release us from the control that terror has over us? Our desire to reestablish programs. We're releasing this desire to just loop, 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 loop. We're releasing all of us from looping now. And you can say, I release myself from all looping, all programs that just go in circles, that have no end. The programming that lies and tells me that I should be afraid, that I should be terrorized. Ooh, so animal energy just came forward on my chart 13. And animal energy is, this is called Programs Before Creation. It's the evolution of our consciousness expanding. And actually, animal energy is pretty high up on this chart. It's pretty, it's pretty high up in the evolution of our consciousness. And we all believe that, right? We all know animals are like so wise and so smart and so amazing. And I'm just curious what kind of animal energy we're calling in, or what that means necessarily. So being present, right? Ooh, this is it. So animals, I think animals are better at us at being present. And when you are present, you are less likely to be terrorized. And so animals have this great way, for the most part, unless they are absolutely being abused over the long haul by a human. Animals have this great way of just being present, of shaking it off, of not letting things get to them, of not placing meaning on something where meaning doesn't exist. And I absolutely believe that animals know that they are divine. Animals know they're divine. I think animals know they're just going to animal heaven. They just know. They just know they're going to animal heaven. I do not think that animals suffer with the same kind of self-doubt, the same kind of self-hate, same kind of self-punishment. Obviously they don't. And so let's lean into that consciousness. And I'm not saying release all the wisdom and the knowledge and the truth that you know as a human. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, what wisdom can we gain from animal consciousness? Well, it's like releasing ourselves from this idea of self, this idea that I am an individual. Animals are much more concerned about the collective. Animals are much more concerned about, again, the here and now, this very present moment. And they're not as worried about, well, they're certainly not worried about politics. They're certainly not worried about religion. And so can we get ourselves past needing those things to be our identifiers, needing those things to say, I am this, I am that, and needing to over-identify with those external programs. So that's what we're releasing ourselves from now. So it's all just a part of the dream. It's all just a part of the dream. We're going to wake up from this someday, y'all, and be like, oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Remember that time where I was down there on that planet Earth and I was like being a weirdo and, you know, being terrorized and allowing myself to believe that I wasn't a divine being who's going to go into the next elevation and be another version of another species, of another alien, of another whatever, and, you know, on and on and on. Remember that time I was a human and I was allowing myself to be fully terrorized by the government and by the media and by religious figures? Remember that time? That was funny. We're going to be there. We're going to be there someday. Someday we're going to be looking back on this laughing. I guarantee you. I can guarantee you we're going to look back on this laughing someday. I really do. I keep getting chart 17. This is really interesting. So what else is going on here on chart 17? Abdication of our physical responsibility. We really want to put our life in somebody else's hands. We really want to put our health, our wellness, our money in somebody else's hands. It is very often that we would rather just let the government take care of it. Let the politicians take care of it. Let the whoever take care of it. Let my priest take care of it. Let somebody else take care of it. And those days are done. Those days are done. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, for our lives, for our actions, for the world that we create, for our community. We have to start taking responsibility for the health and safety of ourselves and those that we love, those in our community, because nobody else is going to do it for us. Those days that's not happening. And it's fully possible. We are amazing, wise, fantastic beings when we want to be. We can band together in community and, you know, move mountains. We just have to do it. We just have to take responsibility. We have to wake up. We have to get off our butt. We have to stop being lazy. We have to stop abdicating responsibility of our lives, of our health, of our happiness onto somebody else. And it's exciting to watch that that's happening, you know, in certain places, which is great. So we're going to clear chart 16. What's going on here on chart 16? Fall from grace. Yeah, we're still having some guilt and some shame that we're dealing with. We're releasing all of ourselves from guilt and shame now, starting fresh, starting new. We don't need to carry that with us. It's just so pointless. It's so pointless to carry guilt and shame. Go into chart 29. Final blessing. Infinity programs, clearing all the infinity looping. Again, we're releasing ourselves from any looping that we have going on here. This clearing is going a little bit longer than I was expecting, especially because sacred contract. Yeah, we have a contract on some level to play this out. If you were on this planet right now at this time, you have a sacred contract to be here, to be a part of this. And that can be hard and scary. And maybe you're terrorized by that right now. You're like, what? I signed up for this? And I'm not saying that that means that every bad thing that happens to you is your fault or your choice by any means. It's not what I mean. But because there is a level of chaos in all things, and there's a level of just divine things that we just do not understand and won't understand until it's over. But yeah, there's a sacred contract in being here right now. And if you can own that and take some responsibility for that contract and say, okay, I chose to be here right now. I will be here right now. I will not run away. I will not be paralyzed in terror. I will show up for this. I think some amazing things can happen. I really do genuinely mean that. I think amazing things can happen when we show up instead of be paralyzed in this terror. Like, push through it. What happens when I show up full of anxiety and terror? What happens when I don't let that stop me from moving forward in my life? Okay, now what do we got here? We're clearing all the dark forces, we're clearing evil, and we're just clearing all of the ick, the muck, the darkness that has its hold on us, that is preventing us from moving forward. I see it almost as if it is, you know, quicksand, that with every step we're trying to move forward, these dark forces, this terror, you know, we sink into it. And so I'm just calling for all of that to be cleared so that we can walk forward with confidence, we can walk forward with stability. All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to do 100% of 100% of mop up. And then let's look at what our replacement energies are. I sort of remember what it was. What was it? Was it tolerance? No, I'm not. Yeah, it was tolerance. Okay, so tolerance is what we're calling back in right now. Gratitude. Mercy. Amen to that. I'll use a little mercy right now. All right, let's drop back in. Let's find ourselves right here, right now, in this very present moment, not worried about the past or thinking about the future. Softening to this experience, softening to the healing, the transformation that can take place when we accept and acknowledge ourselves as spiritual beings, having a spiritual experience. All right, everybody. Well, I hope that was helpful for you in some way. You can find me at www.thepointedstone.com if you're interested in learning more about what I do or figuring out how we might be able to customize a clearing for you and what you're going through in your life right now. Okay, thanks again, and we will see you next time on another episode of Clearing with Kate.